So probably the most important thing that you can do to stop these marketing calls, whether you have a business line, because that was for years what I thought. I thought as a business owner who had a business line that there was nothing I could do, but that's just simply not true. So the first and most important thing that you can do, whether you're a business owner or whether you're just a regular Joe getting a ton of calls, is put your numbers on the federal do not call database. Okay. Now you have to do that for every single number that you've got. Okay. It doesn't work to like put your name on that list and then they have a record of all your numbers. You've got to put an entry in for every single one of your numbers on that do not call list. And then sometimes, somehow, the number will drop off the list. Okay. It's not supposed to, but sometimes it does. And so it's worth.
Just going to ask, I was under the impression still now that expires. Maybe it's only good for 3 years or 5 years, and then it falls off. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say that it's worth, depending on how bad your problem is with marketing calls, it's probably worth your time to go and log on to the donotcall.gov website, double check that your number is there at least once a year, right? If you know if you notice an increase in the number of marketing calls that you're getting, it's likely that somehow your number has either fallen off or remember, right? This is sort of like laws are not there for the people that follow laws, right? So you got a lot of bad actors placing phone calls that they shouldn't be placing, right? And so if your phone number, your personal information has been leaked from one of these larger corporations, right? And it's back out there on the dark web or something along those lines, and the bad actors get a hold of it, well, then they're going to start calling you again. Now, putting your number on a do not call list is not going to impact whether or not those people are calling you, right? But what you can do is, and what you have to be really consistent with, is the second thing that you need to do, and that is every single time you get a marketing call that you do not want, you do not engage them in any conversation. All you do is tell them, please take me off your list. Do not call me again. Okay? At that point, they should hang up the phone, right? They are not actually allowed to say anything to you after the point where you say those words to them. Okay? Now, again, if it's a bad actor, who knows what's going to happen there, but this will resolve the vast majority of the marketing calls that you're getting, whether they're from Medicare call centers. Now, you got to be careful, right? Like, just like every other insurance broker out there, I've got advertising that I pay for, out on the interwebs, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or just on, through Google or whatever else, right? And the only way that I get somebody's phone number or contact information is if they've actually actively filled out one of those forms, right? And are making a request for me to give them a call. Now, we don't share, I'm sure, Ron, you do the same thing. We don't share that information with anybody because why would we?
Right, absolutely.
Right? We want you as one of our clients. Okay, so when you are, but you never know when you're filling out one of those forms, if you're dealing with a fellow like me, unless you've seen me on the videos, right? Or Ron or whoever else, you or you're dealing with a call center that's, not going to abide by these things. However, the bottom line is, if you do those two things, right, make sure your number is on the federal do not call database, and tell every single marketer that you don't want to talk with. Now, of course, if I call you, you'll want to talk with me, right? I mean, I'm just saying, but
absolutely.
For every marketer that you don't want to call with or speak to, you just say, please put me on your do not call list. Do not call me again. The thing that you've got to remember is that every single business that's out there has their own do not call list. So just because you tell one of them not to call you doesn't mean that every other business is going to not call you, right? And that's super important too. But after you're consistent with those two steps, and there's some others, if you want to come to my class, I'll teach you all the stuff there is to improve, your situation. But if you do those two things over probably a period of 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to notice a massive decrease in the number of unwanted marketing calls that are going to come your way. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, Mark, and I always say that it's important to note that there are plenty of good, legitimate, well-meaning businesses, including insurance agents and agencies that transact business over the phone. In fact, these days, more and more, our clients don't want to drive all the way to the office. They don't necessarily want us coming into their home. When it comes to health insurance, we don't like to do that in a public place, because we're talking about sensitive subjects of your health. So we don't want to go meet you at Dairy Queen or Starbucks to do that. But we're happy to do it over the phone. It's possible to do everything over the phone electronically, and so that's good. Be very, very careful. If you're going to put your phone number into the internet, you can expect two things. One, you get a whole lot of phone calls, but two, more importantly, read the terms, before you hit submit on that internet form, whether it's a Facebook ad or some other internet form, shopping form. Find out who they're going to give your information to. In our case, it's just us. We don't sell it or rent it or give it to anybody else. But some forms, they'll have, a list this long of individual companies, because that's how they get away with it with the new federal rules that this marketer works with. And guess what? They're going to sell your number to every single one of them. And that's legal. Now it's legal for them to call you because you opted in. So that's about all the time, Mark, that we have. We really appreciate you being here. If somebody does want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Of course, they can call our business line, the 512-432-5414, or you can simply head to our website. It's simpleretirementbenefits.com. So thank you, Ron, for having me. I really appreciate you, and hope you have a great day.
Thank you for everything you do. You put yourself out there for free so much, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
All right.